so, you're quite a rock and roller.
I still am quite a rock and roller. Thanks for mentioning that. Without further objections, I would like to sing my song that I've just been working on to Mr. Roper. Would that be all right?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's called Mr. Roper, Mr. Roper. You're a great tramp, but you is slipping. I'm gonna up it up, case of butt whipping, 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 butt whipping. Ah! It's called Mr. Roper, Mr. Roper.
Happy Saturday, September 26th, my boxing family. Special Saturday edition. Mayhem in the Morning. With your boy, AJ Rage. We got the Charlo brothers tonight. Let's do this.
Open up the gates, welcome to Mayhem.
Oh boy, how's everybody doing this beautiful Saturday, September 26th? It's Mayhem in the Morning with your boy AJ Rage. I'm up early. I hope you're up early. It's a big day of boxing tonight, people. We got the Charlo brothers. Both brothers, once again, same card. Love them, hate them, respect them, disrespect them. You gotta love them for the sport. Whether or not they're talking, in the ring, out of the ring, I think that they're an important aspect of boxing right now. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it and stuff. Obviously, we got Jermell Charlo going up against Jerson Rosario. Both of them are champions at 154. Someone's going to walk away with both of the belts. The favorite right now is obviously Jermell himself. But I'm going to tell you right now, like I said before, this is not going to be a walkover. Jerson Rosario is a very accomplished fighter. His shocking upset in a lot of people's eyes in his fight against J-Rock Williams, which I'm going to say it again, it was a complete heartbreaker. I truly admire J-Rock Williams. Here's a guy that suffered a devastating knockout to the hands of Charlo and came back the way he did. But to lose that fight in his hometown just had to be heartbreaking. And I want to see J-Rock back there because he's still a person who needs to be a part of that puzzle at 154. Jerson Rosario, on the other hand, fought the perfect fight. He kept J-Rock at distance. He's a bit more robotic than what you would consider Charlo. Charlo's a little bit more unorthodox in a lot of ways. Maybe a little bit more polished in some aspects, but in some aspects not. I think Jerson Rosario has a better defense. I think Charlo has a better offense. So this is going to be a chess match, I think, for the first couple rounds. I think if either one of them come out and try to invoke their power and try to get the guy out early, it's going to be a huge mistake. They're going to create openings and opportunities for the other fighter. So I look at this as being a chess match for about the first 3, maybe even 4 rounds, and then I see the fireworks coming. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Charlo a little bit just because I think he's got a few more tricks in his bag. I don't see Jerson Rosario keeping him at the distance that he was able to keep J-Rock Williams. I could be wrong. Absolutely. I mean, if he's able to do that, it could be a totally different outcome. And I'm very excited to see this fight tonight. I think another factor in there is the vulnerability aspect on Rosario's end. Being the fact that Rosario's only defeat came earlier in his career against Nathaniel Gilmore, in which he was stopped. Now, don't get me wrong, Nathaniel Gilmore, don't take a whole lot from his defeat at the hands of the kid they called the Tower of the Firing Inferno, whatever, Sebastian Fortuna, because Gilmore's not that fighter anymore. You could see it going into the fight. I don't know what was going on with him and stuff. That haircut was killing me too. But he had an amazing performance against Jerson Rosario. An outstanding amateur coming in, with an amazing pedigree, and it was an upset. So, I mean, with that said, Charlo's, I'm not going to say he's got a one-hitter quitter, but he's got pop. He's got real pop. And if he's able to get Jerson out early in this fight and really make a statement, I mean, really, he's the man at 154 at this point. So, so we're going to go ahead and jump on his brother. Now, Jamal has got what I think is really the big test of the night, and that's his fight against Sergey Demyanchenko. Most fans out there know the name now, Demyanchenko. He's not a household name maybe at this point, but he should be. The guy's performances, his two very controversial losses, one to Daniel Jacobs and the other one to the mighty Gennady Golovkin. Daniel Jacobs' fight was a little bit, I would say, it could have been stem to draw or something like this, but I think the impressive thing about the fight that people aren't really looking at with Demyanchenko and Jacobs is the fact that a lot of people have been saying, well, Demyanchenko's he's not a big middleweight. Well, Daniel Jacobs is, and Demyanchenko didn't have a whole lot of problems dealing with that height. So the height factor that Charlo has against Demyanchenko, to me, is something that's not even going to fall into the equation because, first of all, Charlo doesn't fight like a tall fighter a lot of times. So with that said, Demyanchenko is a very well-rounded fighter. And based off of Charlo's narrow victory over Matt Korboff, it really showed a lot of holes and a lot of things that needed to be improved. Whether or not it was an off night for Charlo or it was a great night for Korboff, either way, you can't. I mean, Matt Korboff, don't get me wrong. He's an amazing fighter himself and, tough as nails. But he's not Sergey Demyanchenko. And I think the thing that I really admire about Demyanchenko is his just overall will to win. In situations where Gennady was trying to invoke his power and do the things that he was able to be successful in doing against so many other opponents, even against Canelo Alvarez in the first fight, he was unsuccessful against Demyanchenko. Demyanchenko was finishing those flurries, finishing those combinations, finishing those interactions. When Gennady tried to take it to war, it was Demyanchenko who was coming out on top. He used angles. I watched that fight about 8 times, and I'm going to tell you something right now. For me, myself, I gave the fight to Demyanchenko. It was a narrow victory, but it was a victory. And I think Gennady knew it too. So I didn't see a whole lot of, that's always been my knock on Gennady is the fact that, I don't see him really praise his opponents. And I know people are like, well, why do you want to praise your opponent? Because sometimes you just got to show respect. Trying to hide behind a bad performance or trying to hide behind the fact that your opponent had a higher skill level than you, you need to acknowledge that. Because then that shows room for improvement, and it shows that you got thick skin and you're able to deal with the never-ending pressures that come along in the world of boxing. And I think that's one thing that Gennady's kind of lost right now at this point. But Demyanchenko on the other end, like I said, the guy, to me, honestly, he was just a better fighter than Gennady. He showed it. His punch choices, his well-balanced output from the head and body, the fact that he knew how to end the exchanges, his mobility, I mean, everything. So, I mean, this is going to be a tough fight for Charlo. If Charlo goes out there and just looks for that big punch, I think it's going to be a big mistake. Now, don't get me wrong. Like his brother, he's got that pop. And if he does get that punch in there, and if he is able to successfully stop and looked impressive in stopping Demyanchenko, Charlo puts himself as probably the man at 160. People are going to say, well, Gennady's, still there and stuff. But let's be honest, Gennady's getting up there in age. And some of these other guys just aren't doing much. I mean, there are that'll set up hopefully some big super bouts later on. I would love to see Charlo. If Charlo's successful here, I would love to see Charlo against the mighty Jaime Munguia. Munguia at 23 years old. I mean, here's a guy that's already been a former world champion, had a successful middleweight debut, and is stopping the tough as nails Spike O'Sullivan. Say whatever you want. Spike O'Sullivan is not the guy that a lot of people are jumping in the ring with. So, I mean, the bottom line is, you got Munguia there. You got Erickson Lubin, who's in there who just had his fight recently and stuff. But I wasn't real impressed with Lubin's performance. But a little bit of inactivity. But we'll see what happens there. But like I said, it's going to be an exciting night of boxing tonight. I encourage you to tune in and watch it. It's going to be on Showtime. I know it's a pay-per-view, but I believe they're going to do some sort of thing where you can pay like $12.50 for a fight or something like this. But whatever it is, I'll be watching. I hope you're watching. On another side, I want to go ahead and take a quick note. Last night in Mexico, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was upset in a fight against a kid at Caceres, an undefeated kid out of Mexico. He was stopped in the 6th round. Really, he quit. There was a headbutt. There was a little bit of dirty tactics going on Caceres' end. I have to say this. I really kind of feel for the kid. I'm going to tell you why. I feel that this is a kid who never, ever, ever got an opportunity to live up to his potential. And at one point, he had some potential. He was a bright point. But I think he was trying to fill the shoes and chasing that shadow, that ghost that is his dad, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. The fact that his father fought on an exhibition on his same card, I think added pressure to him. So, I mean, it's probably the end of his career. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, I don't want to see, if he doesn't have the heart to do this anymore, the cut wasn't that bad. He's just, I don't think mentally he wants it anymore. Maybe he never wanted it. But, for myself and our staff at Mayhem in the Morning and my brother and our staff with Enter the Ring Live, I just want to wish Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., whatever decision he makes from this point forward in his future, just live his days happy and know that you don't have to fill your father's shoes because you already did something that a lot of people don't have the nerve, the guts, the audacity, the bravery, whatever you want to call it. And that is you laced up a pair of gloves and you got into the ring. And, a lot of people, forget a lot of his performance in the back against guys like Andy Lee and stuff. He's a former world champion. So we want to say, good luck in the future with Julio Cesar Chavez and stuff. Congratulations to Caceres on his victory and stuff. Tune in tonight. We got the Charlo brothers. We got Derevyanchenko. We got Rosario. It's a great undercard. Showtime pay-per-view. I'll be watching live. We're going to probably be doing Enter the Ring live tonight. Hopefully if we can get everything going with our web stream. We've been having a lot of problems. But for myself and the rest of our staff here at Mayhem in the Morning on this special edition on a Saturday, have a great Saturday, September 26th. Enjoy the fights tonight, everybody. Stay safe. Have a great day.